And good. All right. Welcome to the Destiny Corner podcast. I'm your host, Dimitri, and we're joined once again by Adam. How you doing, Adam?
How's it going, guys?
And we are joined by a new guest, Nick, who's a friend of Proto. He's from Finland. Hello, Nick.
Hello, guys. Hello,
How
hello.
are you? All right. What time is it over in Finland?
It is just about 4 a.m.
Oh God,
Yep.
you're making a huge
Those are grind
sacrifice.
time hours.
I'm glad to be on.
So, Nick, you're a big Destiny player.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
been since Destiny 1, yeah.
So, what got you into Destiny, Nick?
Well, I was following the whole hype up to the release with the massive marketing campaign. Even over here, it was a pretty big deal.
Mhm.
And I remember getting into it during week 1. I wasn't at launch. I wasn't right away in there, but pretty soon, week 1, I was playing very actively for like a month, I think. And then once that initial content sort of like, I remember I think I even sold the disc or something. And
Wow.
then, yeah. So lots of year 1, I was absent, but then leading up to Taken King, I was all in, and I got all my friends in it, and that's when it really started for me because we had a pretty active clan in Destiny 1 year 2, and played the hell out of King's Fall and Wrath also, maybe less so, but yeah, definitely King's Fall was like the big one for us. So that was basically my console. Then for Destiny 2, I moved over to PC eventually, and that came with like a new clan also, but pretty
Mhm.
much actively playing since Destiny 1.
Okay. Now, I'm right with you. People who listen to this cast should know by now that I started playing when the game came out for like a month, and then I also sat out and waited until Taken King, and that's
Right,
honestly where
right
I
on.
thought it was really good. But um, what is your preferred class? It's a very important question. So think about
Hunter,
this. Hunter. All
easy,
right. This is a good
easy.
man over here. All right.
Yes.
Now, what attracted you to being a hunter?
I liked the aesthetics of the class.
Mhm.
To start out with, I wasn't sure about any of the abilities, any of the class stuff. All
Mhm.
I had to go on was how it looked, and that's always been the look that appeals to me. And once I figured out, like I've always been a Night Stalker. Shade Step was like my thing. That's mainly why I was sort of bummed at the start of Destiny 2, right? Because then you had a Shade Step every minute or something with the cooldowns back then. So so yes, Hunter always, but like I had a moment there at the start of Destiny 2 where I was like I was looking at seeing other classes, but I always been Tether
You mean
PvP.
you mean Titans?
Well, that's always been bottom of the list. I'm sorry to say, but
Well, you see, like I'm right there with you. I instantly saw a hunter, and personally, I thought Indiana Jones. That's what I
right.
thought when I saw a hunter, because hunters to me, I just love the idea of them. There's a squirrel here that comes out that likes to eat food, so sometimes we give her snacks. But when I saw hunters, I just thought of swashbuckling art, like just going. I guess you could say grave robbers, which is not really a good thing, but like, hey, you never know. But I always think of stuff like that, and so like I know some people when they play Destiny, and there's no shame in this, but like when some people play Destiny, they just go, "Oh, I like Titan, go boom," and that's fine. That's honestly, I have no problem with that at all. I mean, I don't want to say it's casual, but that attitude's totally cool. But I love it when people like really get in depth with their character, and they're like, "This is their name, this is their backstory." When I, like, this is what they do when they're not doing strikes or something like. And I really like in the community when I see people that put that much thought into it,
Hmm.
and like their facial markings. Like I've done that. Like the reason my Exo Hunter has that face with the effect that makes it look like they got like shot in the face or something, and I'm like, oh, he gets into bar fights or stuff like that, and so like sometimes he takes a punch to the face or something. It's like, so like I was going through the community on Twitter yesterday, and I was just looking at art that people have done about their characters and like backstories and stuff like that. And you know, I was just thinking about that, and I was like, that's really, really cool. And I was wondering, do you guys ever do stuff like that? Do you ever think about stuff like that with your characters? Do you ever think about who they actually are, not just that's my character in a game?
You want to go ahead?
Yeah, I kind of do. I kind of try to follow the same routine how I make my characters all the time. I do like the whole like build up a story behind my character. I always try to make my characters when it comes to customization, try to make them look battle worn, like they've been there, they've done that. So I always try to go for anything that has like an eye scar. So anytime like a game gives me that option, that's my go-to like look. Whether it be like Skyrim or anything like that, I always try to give someone some epic battle eye scar where their eye's white and they're blind in one eye. So like I totally agree with that. I definitely go with that, and I definitely just want to reiterate real quick on what you're saying, like where everybody's jumping in for the first time and they're deciding on what they want. I think the only reason why people like other than the whole Titan go boom, but like since the game went free to play and a lot more people started playing the game, I think the reason why Titans are just so more desirable is like, in my opinion, I personally think Titans have some of the coolest armor sets. They look pretty badass. A lot of people who play Destiny are people that play Halo, and Titans are the ones that closestly look more resemblance to Spartans. So like I feel like that's the reason why people play Titan a lot. Now you know me, I normally am a Titan main, but since I started going competitive and everything like that, I realized playing Warlock and Hunter a lot better competitively, since like anything like Titans get that is the little bit is OP, it gets nerfed right away and people freak out about it, and it's like, all right, well now I'm going back to Warlock and Hunter and I have more fun playing them than when I gotta run around with like Obsidian aspects and stuff like that, or what is it, like the legs that the Titans had before,
Which ones? The ones that do what?
Blind Rampage?
Yeah. No. He's
yeah,
talking the one that causes the shield.
yeah.
Oh yeah, Antaeus wards. Yeah.
Antius wards, like it's like, yeah, that was fun because now I can really push people that are trying to camp around with the shotguns, and like, yeah, people were getting butthurt because like the thing is like, yeah, you now I can't camp with a shotgun, but now it's like now Titans are rushing you with a shotgun and like that. So like, yeah, I got it. Like that definitely needed to get taken out, and it made the game more fun once like people stopped using it because it was basically like useless.
Right.
But it's like. But like, once I started playing really competitively, like I realized playing Warlock and Hunter is definitely where it's at, because being able to like get out of a jam really quick as a Hunter with the dodge like helps out a lot. And like as a Warlock with the Icarus dash and being able to move, like I can like get to a spot in trials and get a quick headshot off the bat really quick, and it's really nice. So I definitely agree, like those two classes definitely take a lot more skill than Titans, and that's the reason why people definitely take Titans, is because it's just more noob friendly, and I get it. So that's just the reason why. Like, but you can't shame Titan mains, man.
It's
just
okay.
because they're noob friendly.
Being Titans, but what about you, Nick?
So real quick on the whole Titan thing, I would definitely, for me, obviously yeah, the aesthetic, like people can really like get behind that sort of heroic sort of archetype of the Titan, and really like if I could play a Titan but look like a hunter, I would probably do that a lot of the time. But sort of just the rogue identity and all that for the hunter, that's what always attracted me to that. I don't know, to your original question, like I don't know if I'd necessarily made any backstory to any of my Destiny characters. Now that I think about it, it's always been all about the gameplay, and sort of I will always choose a female character. I've noticed that, like anytime I do, I get a choice. So obviously in Destiny also I get that choice. So, and I do think that the female hunter looks a little bit better. It looks very cool and sleek, and sort of all the armor fits really well. And yes, so
sure.
I'm just saying. So what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so in other games definitely I've thought about that more deeply, where you have an RPG with lots more systems and character progression. Not in Destiny though. No, now that I think about it. Not really.
So if you could come up with a backstory for your character, uh, what do you think you could? Do you think you could come up with a good one, like a lengthy one or something?
Maybe not a lengthy one.
Mm-hmm.
I've never really gone into that much depth. Maybe with the Awoken Hunter that I play right now. Maybe
Okay.
that's
Okay.
that's a nice way to explore also like the whole race of the Awoken in general. Like that could be pretty interesting to do.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah,
that leads me on to ask you, Nick, what is your preferred race of character
I would
in the
say
game?
Awoken.
Awoken. All right, all
Yes.
right, okay. All right. It's fine.
Yeah,
I'm an EXO.
I figured. Yeah.
EXO all the way. I love the EXO, and I can't wait for Beyond Light to like give us more information on the EXO. And I mean, we saw in that new trailer for Beyond Light. For those of us who did
Yes.
watch the new trailer, we saw those really interesting statues of like EXO with Vex, which leads me to
Yeah.
think, did they develop the EXO from Vex technology, or like that's really interesting. There's definitely a connection because I remember, and I don't think a lot of people remember this, but I could be wrong. On Nessus, there's a conflux, and I believe it's in the Tangle. And if you're an EXO, if you like have Ghost look at it, he'll be like, "Don't touch that." There, it talks about like there's a connection between EXO and Vex, and then there's another conflux on Io that has like similar stuff that tells you like this was designed as a maybe like a trap or to attract EXO by the Vex. And I'm like, oh, they've been building this up for a while now. We've had Joker on the podcast say before that obviously Europa's been in the making for like 10 years. This is definitely something they've wanted to put in the game. But like little hints like that in Destiny 2 lead me to think like Europa was definitely coming at some point. Maybe not the
Mhm.
way that this was happening. Like I'm sure Activision had a different mindset, but like it's nice to see that this is something that's been building for a while narratively that they want to like really make sense. But you're in a woken main, so that's cool, I guess. But no, I'm kidding. But so what attracted you to appear on the podcast?
I was approached by John
Mm-hmm.
JP on Protofo, and
Yep.
yeah, so actually, so a little bit about that. When he got back into playing, he got back into Destiny 2. I'd say 6 months ago.
Yep.
Maybe I'm misspeaking, but yeah. So we helped each other out at the beginning, and he was playing. He was just getting back to it, getting all the exotics, just getting back into the thing, and so we started talking, and we've like frequented the same Twitch channels and all this, so I know him in that way, and so yeah, then obviously been seeing some of his like hyping up of the podcast, and I've seen some episodes, and then when he approached me, my first reaction was like, no, I can't do it. I've never done a podcast. I've never appeared on anything on video like this, so then
Mm-hmm.
I thought about it and came around, and I think it's a nice opportunity to talk about Destiny with people I haven't talked about Destiny with. So
Mm-hmm. I feel you on that. Now, uh, so how frequent do you play the game? And there's no wrong answer here.
right, I'd say right now it's not at an all-time low, but it's definitely on like
Mm-hmm.
on a wane, definitely, because you know how it
There's
is
nothing to do.
at this point. Yeah, little
Yeah.
stuff here and there. I can always jump into PvP like anytime. My comfort zone is just casual PvP. Like and ever since Forsaken, really, when I got my secondary sniper, when I can like just do my
Yeah.
thing at
Yeah.
whenever I want to do my thing, then that's been fine. Like I'm not as sensitive to the different metas, I would say. Like I definitely feel there's like better times and worse times in the Crucible, but overall, like whenever I can spawn in with my two snipes, I'm good. Like that's me covered, and I'm really easy to please that way. So I try not to speak too much on Crucible balance because I know a lot of people feel very strongly about it and they should have their voices heard. So don't take my complacency for like
Yeah.
how the game should be balanced. But then Yeah, I would say when I was playing the most, I was putting in 100 hours a week, and just like going really hard at it and raiding, and whenever there was an Iron Banner, I just stay on all week, even through really the less favored like iterations of Iron Banner. It's always been there's something about this that warm feeling of I remember back from Destiny 1 and just spending all evenings with friends, and it's
Yeah.
still somewhere in there when I play
Mm-hmm.
Iron Banner, even through all this. So
Yeah, I feel
it
you.
comes and
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah, and that's how I feel like a lot of players are right now. There's not a whole lot to do right now, and obviously, I was just talking to Adam. Like, I'm excited for the Halloween event. I mean, let's be honest, the Halloween event is always really good. The Dawning has
Mhm.
been good and bad and good and bad, and the Spring event has always been like eh. But like the Halloween event, I've never played a Destiny Halloween event I didn't enjoy. I think it's probably because of the haunted forest being really cool and all that. And I wonder how they'll replace that next year because there won't be a haunted forest. But um, you know, this Halloween event's obviously going to put some new influx into the game right before the DLC drops. So being delayed to November sucks, but it's good timing because at least we get a big surge of players for Halloween, and then we lead right into Beyond Light. So that's really smart. But that brings me to the next part, guys, where we're going to cover the TWAB because we started covering the TWAB on each episode. And I pulled up the TWAB, and it starts off talking about Halloween. Now, we've said this before on the episodes, but this Halloween armor, I mean, man, it looks really cool. You know,
Yes.
we got the Titan with Frankenstein motif. We've got the Wolfman Hunter. That helmet is awesome. And then the Warlock looking like Dracula. This is really, really cool. We got a mummy ghost. So definitely probably one of the coolest Halloween sets I've ever seen in the game. But it starts off by talking about Eva Levante, Space Grandma, and it's talking about the haunted forest, ghoulish enemies. And here's the nice thing: this year we've added 5 chests to the end of the activity for 5 times the loot. Now I really hope this doesn't turn out to be like Mercury, where it's like 2 tokens and a blue. I hope it's
Yeah.
good loot, like worthy loot. But it talks about to open the chests, you're going to need some cipher decoders. Talk to Spider to get started, and then they will drop from playing any of your favorite activities. This is great. They're learning from the Umbral Engrams, where we want to just play content. Give us content to play so we can get new stuff to drop instead of like, go play the Crucible, go play Gambit. This is good. And I speculated last episode with John about Braytech Werewolf. I really wish we could get it with good rolls. It seems as though my prayers were heard.
Well, maybe they
Possibly.
clarified. Yes, you see it.
Yeah.
You saw DMG's tweet about that.
What did he say on the tweet?
Well, I mean, we saw the perk rolls, right? The potential perk rolls,
Oh,
but
did
apparently
they
there was
release
some
the
API
circles?
error.
Really?
Yeah,
Let me see.
yeah. So there was a lot of content creators actually put out videos with roll videos on Braytech Werewolf and Horror Story, but apparently some of the combos that they were hyping up are not gonna happen after all. So
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah,
okay. Well, let me. Darn. Okay, then let me check. Where's
I
this?
had a phone call.
No, you're good, man. We're just talking about the Halloween event. I'm trying to find DMG's. Did DMG tweet about it or Deej?
I'm pretty sure it was DMG. I'm gonna check to make sure.
Okay, this is useful information that for you listeners to hear.
Yeah. So
Oh,
it might have been a reply on somebody else's.
oh, okay. Let me see. If
Maybe Astacross. I think he maybe.
tweets and replies. That should help.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right, listeners, we will find this information for y'all. You think you think he was replying to Asdacross?
I'm pretty sure he did.
Okay. Let's see. Let me see. I'll just look up Asdacross's Twitter.
Yeah.
Let's see.
But we'll see.
Yeah, right. I'm not finding anything. This is kind of weird.
Yeah. I'm 100% positive though that it
Oh,
was.
okay. I found it. All right.
Yep.
Thank you for that.
Yep.
PSA to our content creators: we found a bug where our API is showing some perks that cannot roll on Horror Story / Braytech Werewolf. We'll see if we can get an official perk list available next week. Okay, so listeners, there are some perks that are not true. So let's obviously don't get so excited. Let's wait and see. But it's cool that it'll tell us, it'll be visible in game, the light level. It seems as though the light level will be the same as Season of Arrivals. Thank God. Uh, because I actually like the Braid Tech Werewolf. I'm not a big auto rifle fan in Destiny, and I've said this before. Like, Division, you have to use fast firing weapons, so it's okay. I can live with it. There's no hand cannons in real life, really. But in Destiny, hand cannons all the way. I would love if they would
Yes.
do like a Halloween hand cannon.
Oh my God,
Well,
yes.
I mean, we're getting the creme de la creme with this DLC, but like I said, we still have no clue how they're gonna do
Hawkmoon?
Hawkmoon any justice, man.
Yeah.
And I'm really nervous because if they fumble this, if they mess this up, I seriously might consider not playing Destiny till either
Right.
they give it a buff or something like that. Because like I really am just getting sick and tired of using Thorn right now. Like
I
it's
feel
actually
you.
boring using Thorn because it's really the only hand cane you can use. I mean, you could still use Ace of Spades, but like I already got bored of using that so much that like I was like, all right, now I'm using Thorn, and now I'm bored of using Thorn, and it's like I said before, like I'm using Rose like right now, like right now just as a hand cannon, just like for fun because it's gonna be gone. It's getting sunsetted, which I
Yeah,
think is
that's
weird
true.
because like you have to use it for the quest for Lumina, right?
Well,
It's for Lumina, right?
I'm assuming, didn't they say they're gonna move exotic quests or they're gonna change them up for people
Yeah,
that get it? Yes, I don't know how they're gonna change that one. I mean,
that's where they do it to
listen,
where they get a new rose, but you have to have not have done the quest to get the new rose. I'm gonna be pretty
mhm.
pissed.
I have no idea.
So do you want to save that until after the 12? Because I wanted to get into how
Yeah,
you guys would
yeah.
do Hawkmoon.
Yeah, let's save that till the
Yeah.
end. So
Hmm.
let's continue with the TWAB. Braid Tech Werewolf Harvester will be available with new perks, but we don't really know what those new perks are, fam. So
Hmm.
so let's wait on that. Let's not get super hyped. I am hyped those weapons are coming back. I actually don't like Horror Story because it suffers from that reskin syndrome where like if you're gonna reskin something, reskin it good. We've already had an episode about Adored and what a joke that is, but Braytech at least is like very, very different from the original version. It's got the bones on it. It's so cool. Plus, the first version of Braytech, let's be honest, it didn't have any good perks. It was trash, and I'm hoping it's at least usable because it looks so cool. But you've probably been hearing this a lot lately, but it goes double for Festival of the Lost. Don't forget to put on your mask. Heh. There are new masks available this year, as well as some favorites from the past. Eva has a Masquerader helmet where you can apply your masks as ornaments before you head out into the world. Now, that is
Yes.
awesome.
I
So
love
now
that.
they're gonna be
No more
ornaments. They're
clutter.
not gonna be
Yes.
like a thing that just gives you no light, like
Yeah.
people were using to
They're
do
now going
AFK
to be
forges.
ornaments. And
Well, so we don't know what the light of the actual helmet would be,
mhm.
right? So it might still be a handicap, right?
Yeah, but it is cool that I'm hoping it isn't a zero light. But it is nice that they're thinking of this because people have said for years in Destiny, I want to be able to wear like my mask as a helmet. Like I want to be able to wear it in the world and not have to be confused by it or something like that. Like people want to be able to wear this in the open world, you know.
Yeah,
And it's really
they want to be able to play the game while wearing it. They don't want to
yeah,
be handicapped by it.
yeah. And they want to be able to pick and choose which one. They don't want to have like 17 different, you know,
Well, that's the
helmets.
main thing. Yeah, right. So
Yeah.
you don't have to fill your whole inventory because we still don't know because it's still gonna have the same mask mods, so it's not gonna
Yeah.
be a normal helmet, I guess.
Because I see the one in the TWAB right now, that fallen one, which I believe is probably Aramis or something. That
Yeah.
looks awesome. That looks
Yes.
real cool. Um, so it talks about before we wrap up the event on November 3rd, which is like I said, they're pretty much going to have this run until nearly the end, and
Yeah,
right before
running
Beyond
to the
Light,
DLC.
which
Yeah.
is good timing. You're going to want to complete 3 of the triumphs for opening chests in the Haunted Forest. Once you finish off the triumphs, you'll be able to trade in your candy for a mummified sparrow, ship, and ghost. Now, Sparrow, cool. Like, don't get me wrong, cool, but man, that ship is
Yes.
cool. That is really
Yeah.
cool. That ghost is really cool looking. That's really cool. I like that.
I think, in my opinion, it's like the ship. It's probably one of the coolest ships they've added in a while. Since obviously the one for doing the weekly quests like 4 weeks in
Yeah,
a row for the Taken one.
that was cool. I remember when that came out.
Yeah, And like other than ones that you could buy in the store, this is a pretty cool one that you can get that you don't have to pay for. So like it's one of the cool ships I've seen in a while that you don't have to actually spend money for, because like the Solstice ship looked pretty cool, but it's like
But
you had to buy it,
and I didn't
or
buy
wait
it.
till you could get it with Bright Dust. And it was like I don't like wasting my Bright Dust. I like to save it for like I saved my Bright Dust because they leaked out when the micro mini was coming out, and I didn't buy the micro mini when you could only buy it. So I was like, well, I'm not spending my Bright Dust till the micro mini comes out because I want to hit so bad. Best Sparrow.
That's what makes me mad sometimes, because like I missed out on the new finisher with the Iron Banner axe, and I'm still salty that I forgot to buy it, and now you can't get it. And it's like, I still don't understand why that isn't like a reward for the Iron Banner. I don't get that.
There's not a whole lot of rewards, because like it's like the same thing with Trials. It's like they brought back Trials of Osiris, but it was like they brought back the same armor, and it's like, yeah, it's great armor, but it's like, now give us new armor. Now give us new armor. Like, we just did a whole DLC with it, and now we just started this whole one, and you still brought back the same armor. Now we don't know if we're gonna get new armors, or if they're gonna bring back Trials again, or if they're gonna call it something new.
Back. They're gonna get new armor. I believe, wasn't it confirmed? Season 13, 14?
Yeah,
14.
Sounds right.
Yeah,
14.
December, winter.
Yeah.
Well, not December. Because all the seasons are screwed up now.
Well, we'll see. Yeah,
timeline wise, but then the season after Beyond Light viewers is when the new Trials armor and weapons will drop.
Yeah.
So one thing I'm hopeful is that's like going forward, they're gonna add more of that stuff in, right? With moving stuff from Eververse to actual completion reward. Yeah.
Yeah, because like that's what we need, especially Iron Banner. I really think Iron Banner really needs rewards, new stuff. I've said this on probably every episode at least once. I hate the Iron Banner armor in Destiny 2. I hate the weapons. I think it's all trash and should be thrown out and redone. Because I'm not of the camp, and I say this again multiple times, I'm not of the camp that I say where everything in Destiny 1 was better. But the Iron Banner stuff in Destiny 1 was better. So, but yes. Finishing up the Wrapped and Ready Triumph required to get the Exotic Ghost also unlocks the ability to purchase the pin through Bungie Rewards. I'm not a pin guy. But I know other people are, so that's cool. Speaking of rewards, we also have a terrifying new emblem.
The only thing I've bought in so far from like doing it is I bought the Prophecy Dungeon hoodie, because that was a pretty cool hoodie, and I bought the Trials jersey.
Darn! Oh, I got the Trials jersey. I got
the Trials jersey, but the Prophecy hoodie is the coolest thing I've got.
It's October 2nd. Oh no! Wait, no.
Yeah.
I think I still have time.
No, I think you do still have time, but that hoodie is probably one of the coolest things they've sold, was the Prophecy hoodie.
The Prophecy hoodie, I think. I did redeem my code. I think I still have time to get it. I don't remember.
And I'm still on the fence on if I want to get the raid ring or not.
I'm not gonna get that. It looks
you're eligible?
I'm a big ring person. You know me. I have a bunch of rings. Yeah. So I'm still on the fence getting on it. I think it's only like $30 for the ring.
No, it's more than that, brother.
Is it? I think it might be 60.
I'll tell you how much it is, man. I'll tell you.
It actually might be a little bit much. That's why I was questioning it.
This is good information for the viewers. Let me find out. I'll tell you how much it is. But
other than it being $4,444,000,
$125.
Yeah,
it's
I think that's why I like rings.
Camel.
Yeah, I like rings, but I don't like rings that much. I have a full, you see it. I have my skeleton ring. It's full platinum. That's the most expensive ring I own. It's a pinky ring. It was a $300 full platinum ring, and like it's like one of my most expensive like pieces of jewelry I own. And I don't plan on buying anything ever again until I'm buying maybe someone a diamond ring that's going to be a little more pricier than that. But all I know is I'm getting my normal black carbon ring for my wedding band. That's all I'm rocking.
Well, like I said, I'm not a pin guy, but I know a lot of players that collect the pins, and it's cool. Yeah. It's really cool. I don't care for pins because it's just, I don't collect stuff that's little. I'm more of like and I have some rings, but I'm like a wristband guy, shoes. I'm a big see the viewers. I'm a big shoe guy, hats, stuff like that. But socks are my thing. If Bungie would sell socks, I would buy all of them. But yeah, that's my thing. But
That's actually something I'm surprised they don't do, because I know
I know, right?
Bungie did stuff like that with Halo.
Bungie did that briefly last year. They had leggings for women,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, if you did socks, I'm just saying right now, Bungie, DMG, Deej, any of y'all, socks. I'm telling you now, people will buy up all the socks if you do like, I don't know, if you do Vault of Glass socks, if you do Taken King socks and it's Oryx, if you do stuff like that, people will buy it up. If you do, I don't know,
Definitely.
Gjallarhorn socks, people would buy them. I definitely would, but that's
You
just
know,
my
it's actually something I'm surprised. Like a lot of places, like obviously with Corona and everything like that, people like been doing the masks and everything like that. I'm surprised they didn't make masks or anything like that.
I
They
don't
didn't try to push off of it.
remember if they ever did a mask. I don't remember.
Mm.
But
Like, I'm surprised they haven't done anything like that, because a lot of companies like gaming companies like EA did it with like Madden and everything like that. Like I'm surprised Bungie didn't just
I'm
like
assuming
bite the bank
maybe,
and do it.
and it's just an assumption, but I'm assuming maybe they didn't want to seem like they're taking advantage of the crisis or
Yeah.
something. That's possible.
No, that definitely
But I'm
is.
not sure. I don't know what goes on in their meetings. But
But
it
it's like
says,
at the end of the day, it's like you're not taking advantage of a crisis unless you're like overpricing a mask that shouldn't be more than $5. Like I have like a couple, like, you know, I'm a Panthers fan, you're a Seahawks fan. I bought a bunch of Panthers ones. They're $5 a pop. Like
yeah,
I don't think that's overpricing for a mask. Like I've had to buy a doctor's mask, like a regular blue one from a gas station for like $6. Like, and I think that's a little much to ask for a mask at a gas station. But like, so it's like I'm fine paying for one that's like branded that I'm actually gonna, you know, take care of versus like a crappy doctor's one that's supposed to be disposable.
Yeah.
So like
Well,
I don't think it's taking advantage of a crisis, more of because I don't really see where you make profit off of that. Maybe that's also another reason why.
well, I'm sure it costs a big company like 5 cents to make a mask, but you
Yeah.
know. But there's a new emblem you can get for free once you finish the first quest. It's really, really cool. It's a skull in front of a pyramid, and then it's got pyramid. That actually, you know what? People got to read this twab because honestly, for a free emblem, that is definitely one of the coolest ones they've ever done.
It
I
looks
mean, that
sick,
is
yeah.
awesome.
I've seen it. It honestly is one of my favorite emblems, other than because I say this before and I've reiterated it because everybody always asks me how I have my emblem. I have the Black Lives Matter one with the camo
Oh,
with the
love
black
that one. I
fist
have that one too.
It is personally one of my favorite things.
Yep.
Not even like just
Can't wait for the pin.
it's just great that it's just a great thing because it's in support of like the movement or everything like that. But it's also just like whoever designed it did a great job with doing it, because
It's the
that
Bungie
alone,
crest. It's
that alone,
Bungie crest.
it's that Bungie crest, and it's like, man, that gave me like OG like Halo vibes, and I was like, Bungie did it. I was like, whoever made this like killed it, and like you sold me on it just with that. Like, regardless of the movement, I would have bought it anyways in support. But like that was just the icing on top. Like that was like a bonus. Like that the emblem itself was actually sick.
Yeah, I agree. So let's see. Minimum power to enter the Haunted Forest 750. You can hold up to 25 decoders. There will be earnable masks for Silver and Bright Dust. Bounties will return from last year and will be Bright Dust. All new Eververse items, Silver and Bright Dust, except for the new finisher, 1-inch punch. That'll be Silver, probably like $8, so $10 really. And then the toothbrush is still just a toothbrush. But the 1-inch punch, that sounds dope.
I'm happy that the Bright Dust bounties are returning also for me personally, because like I'm sure everybody has a million Bright Dust, but for me, like it was a fiasco when I was going to I did all the Solstice of Heroes stuff, then I went to buy the thing,
wow,
the glow, and I didn't even have 6,000 to scrape together to buy the whole thing, so I didn't end up buying it with money, but for me personally, I can stock back up on it now, so.
I feel you. Yeah, I have a 12 or 13,000. It's always hovering around there because there's always something I want to buy, and then I do a shitload of bounties, and then there's one thing I want to buy, and then there's a shitload of bounties. But yeah, that's a great move, obviously. And then it diverges into direct relief. 2020 has been one disaster after another. It's easy to get discouraged, but the Destiny community always comes together. That's true. Here in the United States, more than 500,000 people have been evacuated due to the massive fires. If you don't know, these massive wildfires on the West Coast where I am, California, Oregon, Washington. Our good friend Orchid She almost got affected by the fires, and as far as I know, she's okay and her house is fine. But you could see where she lived; it looked like Mars. Like it's crazy.
I'll see
I've
pictures.
been
Yeah.
seeing people. I have a buddy who's in Oregon, and like he's sending me pictures from the bay, and I didn't even know what was going on. I said, "What filter is that?" He goes, "That's not a filter." I go, "Dude, like you're joking, because like it looks like you put on some Fallout New Vegas filter on."
Yeah, it's crazy,
That's how
right?
orange it was. You're right. It definitely looked like Mars or something like that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's definitely something that Bungie cares about because Bungie's, as for I don't know how nobody who plays Destiny wouldn't know this, but Bungie's headquartered in Seattle, so and Seattle's been affected by this. So there's a new sale going on, and if you read the TWAB, um, there is a uh, sale going on for the empathetic ghost shell, and it is hey John, welcome to the call. Hey buddy.
What's up,
Sorry.
What's up,
John?
John?
Hi,
Good morning.
guys.
It's all good.
Yes,
How you
good
doing?
morning.
So we're just talking about the TWAB.
Hey,
We already
Roland.
went over some of the Halloween stuff, but we're talking about the empathetic ghost shell pin, which will be on sale from October 1st until October 15th. There's a link to it, and it's sure it's also in the Bungie store. But there's a link to it in the TWAB, guys. And if you purchase an empathetic ghost shell pin, you will receive a code for Benevolent Hue emblem, which is one of the coolest charity emblems I've seen them do.
It's beautiful.
So I will buy this because I do all the charity. And wait, let me. I don't want this to sound like I'm being like a douche. She's like, I always buy the charity stuff because I'm such a good guy. But I always buy the charity stuff because I have a lot of friends in a lot of the areas that have been affected. I did the Australia one because Jack is from Australia, and so this is really cool. It's only like $15 plus shipping, so like the shipping's probably like another $5 or something, but it's worth it because the money is going to go to the Bungie Foundation is once again supporting the relief efforts of direct relief. So the money from these pins will provide N95 masks, medicine, and other resources to healthcare agencies and first responders in wildlife affected communities across California, Oregon, and Washington. So basically, if you buy this pin, guys, you get a free emblem, a really cool pin, and the money goes to help those of us who have been affected in those areas from the wildfires. And a lot of these people are going to be fellow Destiny players, but it shouldn't matter if they're Destiny players. But this is a really good way for our community to once again do something really, really great. And this community has shown multiple times that it can rally together and raise a lot of money for disaster relief, helping fight racism, So I think this is going to raise a lot of money for this. And it's great that Bungie's once again doing something like this because I'm sure it costs a lot of money for Bungie to do stuff like this, and it takes a lot of time for them to like go through this process. So obviously, this is really good news. Really glad they're doing this. And Nick, have you seen the pin? Have you seen it?
I have seen it. Yes.
Yeah, it's
the
cool,
heart.
right?
Yeah,
And the emblem. Yeah, it's really cool.
like a balloon heart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
And then under here it says double ordeal. Festival of the Lost is not the only reason to log in. Double rewards in the ordeal is back. Grab a few friends or meet new ones. It's a great time to stock up on prisms and shards, which I definitely need to stock up on. Or get a new exotic, better stat rolls. So it's going to be a garden world, unfortunately. I hate that strike. That strike feels like forever. But
I don't know, dude. At the end of the day,
so...
nothing's more worse than the corrupted.
Oh my
Mhm.
God.
Oh,
Yes.
God.
The
Oh my
corrupted just
God.
makes me always want to blow my brains out. Anytime anything has to do with the corrupted, I just want to die.
Arc
I
burn
guess
on the
Scarlet
corrupted.
Keep is a bit longer, but I don't
Yeah.
know. Corrupted feels like
Scarlet Keep.
it takes a long time.
Ugh. I mean, John's heard me talk about the Scarlet Keep.
I heard you talk about Scarlet Keep. How
yeah.
are you talking shit about Scarlet Keep?
I was talking shit. I don't care. The Scarlet
I
Keep
love
is
it.
really, really cool
But
the
it's
first time for me. I just don't like that it feels really long. Like, I'm sure all the strikes on average take probably 15 to 20 minutes to do, but that strike's pacing is my problem. There's parts of it where you're just like waiting and waiting.
I do
and
agree with
I
the
hate
elevator
that.
part. Yes.
Yeah. Like,
Yes.
it's a good strike, and aesthetically, it looks great. And I like how unique it is. But again, it's still another boss where you shoot them and then they're shielding, and then you shoot them and shield. And I've said this before, but it's a good strike. Obviously, it's the pacing that's the problem. And John's heard me say before, my favorite strike in Destiny 2 is easily the inverted spire. And I'm not even a big Vex guy, but I love the pacing. That strike has all the things that a lot of Destiny 1 strikes have. Not all Destiny 1 strikes. There's plenty of Destiny 1 strikes that suck. But the Inverted Spire is very much, the pacing is really, really good. The boss fight is very well designed. And you're always moving. Like even the part where you're in the drill, it's only for about maybe 2 minutes. Like you're always moving forward. And that's what I think strikes going forward need to do. You have to maintain that breakneck pace of like you're going towards a goal, you know?
Yes, it was a great piece of content to introduce Destiny 2 back in the beta and all that. I remember it very fondly.
Yeah. What do you think, John?
Yes. So yes, got to keep pacing. Definitely, the elevator is a big thing, but I do like Inverted Spire. I know not a lot of people like Exodus, but I like it. I like the quips between like all the support cast, and I think we mentioned it before. Like each time through a strike, content can be slightly different, voice lines and whatnot. I lost every time, but yeah, I like that, and I know it was one that we ran so much back in base. The base game that I didn't mind it. Yes, it was. I think it was the one that when there was a nightfall during original D2, it was completely broken because like the last boss was permanently invisible or something like that. I remember that happening, and it just made it stick in memory. That it was such a pain. You ran it like undergeared, underpowered, just to get screwed over by a bug that they didn't fix. So.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, definitely. There's plenty of strikes in Destiny 1 that were very meh. You know, I don't think Destiny 1 really had any strikes that I was like, oh, it sucks. Like I said, I'm not all about Destiny 1. Like, it's all amazing, but like,
Destiny 1, greatest game ever. Remake Destiny 1.
But I definitely don't think there's any strikes in Destiny 1 where if it loaded up, I was like, oh my god. Now, I'm definitely not a big fan of like replaying the same strike, like if the rotation is bad. But there was no strikes in Destiny 1 where I was like, ugh, this strike.
Other than like the original ones until the first DLC came out, then everybody was like, "Let's go!"
Yeah, it's only like a couple.
And then it was just all uphill from there.
But there's plenty of strikes in Destiny 2 that were like really cool the first time, and then after that they really wear on you, like the Corrupted, or I think that
I'll admit the Corrupted was fun when it came out. Like because you were doing it and everything like that. Now it's like I don't want to do this. This strike sucks.
I think certain content just gets really shitty when the difficulty gets pushed to 11, and like you have the ordeal modifiers that make it even worse. Like we've all seen when we do the Corrupted as an ordeal on a higher level, it becomes a nightmare.
Yeah.
And
taking phalanxes anytime, like those are the ones that ramp up any difficulty, really.
Yeah.
I honestly, personally, just hate fighting the Taken in general. Like, they're just the worst. I'm tired of getting thrown 50 feet across the map. That's why, like, I almost ripped my hair out going for my solo flawless on Prophecy, because every time I failed, it wasn't that I died. It was that some phalanx launched me into God knows where I shouldn't be.
That's a good question, actually. Let's start with Nick. What is your favorite race to fight, and what's your one that you hate fighting the most?
It's been Vex for the longest time for my favorite, but I think Fallen. I just love the whole Renegade sort of first of all, the visuals of the Fallen and how the different classes are sort of, or the enemy types are like, well, anything that's, I think they're much more satisfying to headshot. First of all, like I love that thing.
Yes.
Yes. So sometimes, you know how with the Vex, the stomach sort of crit point it may be a bit like inconsistent sometimes compared to just popping heads on dregs and stuff. It's that's probably why at this point. And maybe the bosses aren't the most exciting with the giant servitors just shoot the big thing in the middle. But other than that, I think Fallen. And least favorite is I think I'm with Adam with Taken, definitely.
Yeah. No, and I totally agree with you on that. And I'm really excited for this DLC because we know going in, it's Fallen. We're back to fighting the Fallen. Thank goodness.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sick of fighting Taken. I'm
Mhm.
sick of it. I'm sick of it. And I'm just so glad we're going back to fighting the Fallen, just like D1. Make Destiny great again. They're like, we're going back to our roots.
House of Wolves and stuff. Good
I'm
memories.
tight. I wasn't ready for this war with the Cabal. I just wanted to finish my fight with the Fallen.
Mm-hmm. What about you? What about you, John?
So I don't. I like Taken. I don't think they're my favorite, but again, nostalgia from when they were introduced in Destiny 1. It was so good. Watching racers get pulled through portals and then spat back out and be something completely different.
Yeah.
And even though they are just reskins to a degree, they are still unique and they still challenge pretty much no matter what content you're doing. But I think Vex overall, because I like the tech side of it.
Yep.
And again, they can change. So again, you can get a crit point, but if you don't kill them, then they're still alive and they're still dangerous.
Yeah.
And they're more chaotic and more unpredictable. And then I don't know. So overall, I think in Gambit, fighting Hive is the one that I like the least. Because it's an absolute nightmare in Gambit. So if I had to pick one that I didn't like, then it would be Hive overall. So
yeah,
just barely.
Yeah, I definitely personally, I hate the Cabal the most because I think they're just super boring. Like they're just really, really
Well,
boring.
they're gone now. They're gone. So
Well,
it's like,
yeah.
I don't even care about the Cabal anymore. I don't even consider them anymore. They're gone. Aaron Hernandez gone forever.
Well, it's because they're narratively super bland. Like they're just a spacefaring empire that conquers all. Like they're just so bland. I just cannot stand. It's like a race of brutes. Like like the brutes to me were the most boring in Halo, and so like the Cabal to me are the most boring in Destiny, and they're not that fun to fight. Their bosses are not that interesting. Like. So, while there's parts of them I enjoy, I definitely think they're by far the worst race and definitely the worst to fight. I'm definitely with you on John, where I think the Taken are really interesting. My only issue with them now is that they were really, really cool in Taken King. I don't feel like Destiny 2 has innovated enough with them. I really wanted to see like exclusive Taken to Savathun because she's in charge now. I really wanted her to like have the Taken be evolved or in different ways, like different forms, or maybe like the ogres were different, like they fought you in a different way or something like. And I'm not getting on Bungie for like, oh Bungie, you need to do this and that. Like, it's fine, but like,
you know what? I agree with you on that. And I think they plan on doing that because like if you look at the names of the thing, like we got like Savathun got a DLC that's coming up. And that's probably when we're gonna get to see like like other than the Eyes of Savathun like and Hive, like we're gonna see full on Taken and see different types of Taken like we did when we were on back on the moon and we had different types of Hive like but they were red.
I think that's definitely what it's gonna be. Like we're definitely gonna get new Taken, hopefully, but that was my issue with Destiny 2 because clearly Savathun was in charge even at the beginning of Destiny 2, but the Taken didn't change. Like a lot of the races didn't really get innovated, and that's my thing about sequels. Like you need to innovate. Like sequels need to innovate, and so they just got But I'm definitely with Nick. I think my favorite to fight, as much as like Vex gonna piss me off because I hate when the Minotaurs teleport, but Fallen and Vex, I think the Fallen are by far, even from Destiny 1, my favorite race in Destiny. I love that they're a fallen race of pirates and stuff. Like they were once good. They were once on top. I love that. I love the aesthetic. And I love it when they climb and they like scurry around and stuff. Like I love that. I wish the AI was advanced enough where they would like climb on the ceilings and fight you from there, or go behind you, like because that's what they would actually be good at. Like they would be really good at swarming you and like getting around you and splitting you up. Like I wish they would do that. Obviously, who knows with all the rumors about engine changes and stuff, like, and we have been told some stuff, but there's rumors about AI changes and stuff. Hopefully that's something that happens. But yeah, definitely with you, the Fallen and the Vex, with the Fallen just being right above them, because everybody knows I'm not big on, like, I like the fantasy part of Destiny, but I'm more about sci-fi. Like I want sci-fi. and so the Vex bring in that really interesting sci-fi part. So that's my opinion. The TWAB finishes by talking about errors. Readers, you can read that. It's just some errors and stuff.
Guitar,
One thing
beaver.
caught my eye there.
Yeah.
It was with the players using the feminine character model may see gaps between the neck of the hunter cloak and certain chest pieces. Again,
wow. Yeah.
Nobody cares about hunters.
always with this.
Next.
Can we get better cloaks, please?
I see a part under that that's more annoying. The artifact is sometimes enabled in Iron Banner.
So I
Like,
thought people were hacking or anything, but turns out it's just a bug, right?
It's just a bug, and there's a way to do it apparently consistently. But the thing is like you have apparently to do it, you have to keep doing it. Like you can only do it for one match. Like you won't play that same person in a row. Like unless like you're sitting there waiting for people like and he has enough time to sit there and do the glitch or whatever it was to do it. But there was like I think it's like you have to reset your artifact like every time like as you're loading in or something like that, and it doesn't always work all the time, but like it's just a struggle because you're wasting what is it, you gotta spend glimmer to reset your artifact, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you're just like wasting glimmer to do it. So you're basically paying to just be your max light level or whatever, and it's like kind of dumb.
Yeah, I feel you on that. It definitely can be frustrating. I definitely think this is something that people have said before, though. Like, we really want Glimmer to not be like, not even like not paying Glimmer, but it's just really annoying that it goes up and up and up in price. To like, it can get to the point where it can be like 250,000. You're like, well, that's all my Glimmer. Like, you're like, well,
no, I kind of, and there's also sometimes there's like, well, what do I even spend my Glimmer on half the time? Like, and it's like in D1, which why D1 was so great. Like, you could buy heavy ammo packs and everything like that, and be in raid and pop them. And I used to like that you could do that because it's like sometimes it's like I don't want to run heavy ammo finders and stuff like that. I like running all my other stuff on my armor. I don't want to run heavy ammo finder. I want to run all my other, especially like right now in Destiny. Like I hate the what is it? The overloads or whatever, where you have to like run like the crap to break the shields and stuff.
Overload champions.
So it's like I have to run that half the time, and it's like I can't run heavy ammo finder because I got to run all these champion mods all the time, and it's like I only have like 3 armor sets. I have my PvP set, I have my PvE set, and then I have my overload set, and it's like I hate switching around all my armors all the time. Like I don't like playing like I'm like whatchamacallit, like Jez, where he's got max inventory of armor because he's switching them around like that. I don't want to be like that.
Right.
I just want to run what I want to run.
Right.
So and that's why like it's like I would like if they brought back like where they actually had more of a purpose where I could go in and spend Glimmer, and I don't care if it's like 50k Glimmer to buy a freaking heavy ammo pack so I can unload heavy ammo in PvE, which I don't even understand, which would be such a big deal because it's like because that's all it was for. You couldn't pop those in PvP, you pop those in PvE for raids and stuff like that.
Well, I don't think it's possible to bring them back ever because the ammo economy has changed so much that it's just never going to come back. And honestly, it's better just to stick with what we got now, and they're going to innovate on that in the future. But you know, the synthesis was cool at the time, but honestly, it was just slowing the game down. Like, the synthesis just slows the game down. And then, like, going in your inventory, waiting for 10 seconds to get it back, you know, that's frustrating. But now that we've read the TWAB, let's start with Nick. What do you think?
About the TWAB overall?
About this TWAB
Well, I think all the stuff we learned about Festival of Lost is positive, right? I think there wasn't a single thing that was like a step back, so that's good. I like the new aesthetic, really. Not much to say outside of the festival, but yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah. What about you, John?
Yeah, so I partake in it last year, so it'll be something completely fresh for me this time round. And my partner Becky, she's new to Destiny this year, so it'll be a completely new experience. But yeah, I spoke about last week, and as Nick just said, aesthetics and rewards and stuff look great, look really really good. The mummy ships and everything do look pretty cool. So and it'll be new content for me. It won't just be go to where you're currently gone, get something and go back to, as I say, here's like Space Grandma. It's new content. So leading up to the expansion as well, because it finishes the week before, was it the 3rd of November? So
Yeah.
so it takes us all the way up to the expansion basically, which is a great way to do it. So we're not running new content on top of new content, which is what we would have been doing if Beyond Light had come out when it did. So it
So
actually
that's
works out
interesting,
quite well.
right? That would have been, so we would have had Infinite Forest simultaneously with the new expansion. Was the original plan, which is interesting. Like that means that this might not be going away after all.
Yeah,
Or-
and that's what's a little confusing is like how would they have made that work?
Right.
So I'm a little confused.
Well, so
that
this
it's
is what
going
I
away.
think they probably would have done is they might have just everversed the event where it's like, all right, here's stuff you could buy with Bright Dust, here's stuff you could buy with Silver, here you go. It's all Halloween themed stuff. Like, I guarantee you they probably would have just done that. Like the ship and everything that we're basically gonna be able to get for free. It probably was gonna be stuff that we were gonna have to pay for out of Silver or buy with Bright Dust. Like there probably wasn't gonna be an event because the DLC was gonna have been started. But since like they delayed it, they're like, all right, well now we're gonna run the event. Either that or they were gonna run the event, but like, you know,
Well, they always run the event. Like the event is like the event was gonna happen. I mean, they never not do this event, but
well, you gotta remember they didn't do the event when D2 came out. Like, as D2 came out in September, they didn't do it. Like the next month, they didn't do a Halloween event. And you gotta remember, people are treating this. They're treating this DLC not as if it's a DLC of more that it's. The way I'm treating this DLC is I'm not even treating it that it's a DLC this because it's not the price of a DLC, it's the price of a full game. I'm treating this DLC and furthered content as Destiny 3 because they didn't get permission to make Destiny 3, but they're implementing what they wanted to do with Destiny 3. So that's what I'm treating this DLC as. It's not DLC, it's Destiny 3.
right.
Or 2.5.
I guess
because
so.
we are getting before the next DLC, we're going to be getting crossplay with everybody. We're going to be getting updated graphics and everything like that on new hardware with next gen and everything like that. So it's like they're treating this more as this is Destiny 3, but they're not allowed to say it's Destiny 3 because they didn't get the permission to make Destiny 3. They said, nope, just stick with what you have.
Well, John, do you have a response for that? I mean, because we talked about this.
Yeah,
last episode?
So, if anything, it's like they're going back and bringing content from Destiny 1 as well. So it's definitely not still Destiny 2, but I don't think it's quite D3. But it definitely, I think you hit the nail on the head when it's like 2.5 or Destiny 2 2.0. Because obviously doing Cosmodrome stuff, looks like they're going to bring the Crow back and just introduce Crow. And then characters and places and storylines are going the way that leaks said they were going to go years ago or before they did all the rewrites for Destiny 1. So, but yeah, we've spoken about extensively about the price point. It is, unless they're not revealing everything, or they're going to do a massive content overload over the next 5 weeks, it is not an expansion price. It is a complete full reset price.
Yeah.
Which obviously rubs a lot of people the wrong way. But if you play
Well,
on
at
Xbox,
the end of the day, now you got to think about is, sorry to interrupt you, but it's at least now the game now is free to play. Like I know all of us paid for the game. I know like we all paid for it at one point. Yep. I mean, I didn't pay for it on PC, but when it came out, it wasn't. I mean, I don't know if it released on PC with D2 right away, but I know I bought it on PlayStation 4 when it came out on my birthday. Like, that's when I bought it. And I was excited for it. But, at the end of the day, I'm not upset at the fact that it's free to play because, how many years has Destiny 2 been out now?
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
And so I'm not, I get the whole thing, with you're paying $6. That's basically what we call now a price point for basically a full game. And, sometimes they treat these DLCs like a full game. Like I'll say, Forsaken felt like it was worth it, but Shadowkeep sure didn't feel like it was worth it.
Mm-hmm.
One was a hit, one was a miss. So basically that's what it is. But all I know is since they gave us the timeline and the to be announced dates for the next upcoming DLCs, we're not getting the next one until I think it's spring or fall of 2021, right?
I believe
It'll
it's
probably be
spring.
September time again. Yeah, that's
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
September, yeah.
drop, doesn't it?
But
Which
my problem with that is that we're still gonna have to pay for those. So my issue with this DLC, and me and John talked about this, is that we're paying the price of a full game, but half of the content, as it seems right now, unless they're hiding something, half this content is old content that we've already played before to death.
yeah, technically,
you know,
yes, you're right with us getting Vault of Glass, but I mean, if you think about it, I know for a fact we're technically getting 2 raids. Yes, one of them is a raid that we've played, but at the end of the day, it's a beloved raid.
it is a beloved raid,
It's
but
a
I don't
beloved
think
raid, which I'm not against. Like, they could have brought back like any other raid, and I wouldn't have been as happy about it as it being Vault of Glass, as long as we're still getting the Vex, like, mythic class and everything like that with it, hopefully.
Yes, please.
So, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Nick, why don't you tell us what you think, Nick?
I was gonna say, well, strictly for like value proposition for completely new players, is it? I think it's more reasonable when you think about it like that. But obviously
Right.
for us, yeah, you guys are right. It's definitely steep in that regard. But
It is.
yeah.
But it's like at the end of the day, like, this is the thing. I've never once ripped Bungie about anything because I've given other big companies like a lot of money that don't deserve it. Like, for example, EA is one of the biggest money gobbling companies there is. Like, even what you call it, Dimitri knows I play Madden like religiously, and I have not played the last 2 like competitively as I have because I literally am pouring money into the game to play what seems like it's the same game, and it drives me insane that I literally am paying $60 for the game and then dumping thousands, not just hundreds, thousands of dollars into the game to play a game that just only gave me a little bit better updated graphics and updated rosters, and that's it. The gameplay has not changed at all.
Right, but it's also it comes down to like everybody's value is different, and but the thing is with Beyond Light, and I agree that like for a newer player, like I guess it's okay, but the newer players are not by far not the majority of the player base.
No, they're not.
Also, yes, the game is free to play. However, when you think of it in the terms, and me and John talked about this as well, it's competing with other games that are coming out that are going to be well worth the money and well worth your time. And I just don't think that past content is enough to make the price point worth it. Now, did I buy it? Yes. Because given that I run this podcast, I need to play it. However, Vault of Glass was cool and the Cosmodrome was cool, but I've done that 1,000 times. I don't want old shit. I want new shit. And so unless they're hiding something, me and John said, like, unless there's like a big card that they're hiding, this content is gonna get old really quick. It really is.
I agree with you.
Worried about.
And so now remember with when was it that Black Armor and everything came out? That like wasn't like a DLC. That was just a season before we got Shadowkeep, right? Like that all came out before Shadowkeep, but we were still like in the Forsaken stage. So I think they'll do something like that before the next expansion.
I would be really disappointed if that's what they're hiding. Something like small.
Well, I mean, that's what they said, right? They're going back to that model of season, right?
But that in my opinion, like that's not the greatest thing. But it's like at the end of the day, like that was better than the flop we got with Shadowkeep. Like Shadowkeep was terrible, but Forsaken I thought was really good. I liked the whole story with the Scorn and everything like that. The raid was great, fighting the last Arankara and everything like that. Like that was a great, memorable raid. And then it's like that probably got burnt out really quick for everybody like that. We had 1,000 memes and everything like that, so we got a good raid weapon. I really hope they don't do raid weapons like that again. Like I liked it how they did with Divinity, where it's like you have to do stuff in the raid like that. Like doing that Divinity quest kind of sucked, but for a weapon that's not that great, it's more of just like a helping hand weapon. But like that's what I prefer them to do now in raids, where it's like I can guarantee myself the weapon instead of having like a 5% chance to get the weapon to drop, because until they added the multipliers by doing run-throughs where I finally was able to get the terrible SMG, and get what is it? What's the Black Armory weapon?
Anarchy.
Like, it took me forever to get those two weapons, like, until they gave us the multiplier, and I had been doing it for weeks and weeks on weeks end. So I hope they don't go back to that. So like, I hope, there's some good and there's some bad, but I trust Bungie to do the right thing. I think Bungie's definitely one of the companies that they listen to their customers. Because at the end of the day, we're customers to them, and we're just figures. But at the end of the day, they got to look at it from a number point where it's like, well, what's going to bring us in the most revenue? And at the end of the day, the thing that's going to bring you the most revenue is keeping your customers happy. Like, I'm all well of giving Bungie my money, because at the end of the day, you have to pay to play video games at the end of the day. That's how it's always been. Like, they're not forcing me to buy anything because the game's free now. But obviously, I want this DLC. I pre-ordered it. I want my money's worth, and I'm hoping Bungie knows how to deliver on my money's worth. That's all. I know we're also going to get a season pass, which I'm not against the whole season passing that they started, which was what, the last 4 seasons they've done one? This is like the 4th one we're on right now, right?
Yeah.
So I think if you have the DLC, I think you're guaranteed the first season pass. So it's not like you have to throw another $20 on top of that.
Yeah, but I mean, I still think at the end of the day, and I appreciate those points, but I really do think that this DLC really needs something that they're hiding. Otherwise, this is not going to hit as hard for people.
Another Dreaming City.
Yeah, Nick,
thing.
that's exactly what I'm saying. Because this is my point. Like from last week, is that it's old content is not worth it. At the end of the day, it's not, because you're not going to keep your player base invested by reskinning old shit. It's just not going to work. Like, you're going to get us excited for 2 runs, but like, look, no one's going to play Vault of Glass 10 times, 15 times. Because
we're not just getting Vault of Glass. I think that's just the thing. The Deepstone Crypt is going to be the main raid.
I understand.
That's what I believe. They just haven't confirmed it, but it seems pretty obvious, like, that whatever's going on in the Deepstone Crypt, that's going to be a raid, and it's probably going to be against that other Fallen faction that's led by that Queen Rebel Alliance thing. Everest, yeah. So, like, that's what it seems like, but nothing's confirmed about that. All they've confirmed is what they want to confirm, and we're getting close. We're a month away, and I feel like as we're getting there, they're going to confirm it. But I don't even know if that's enough to keep people happy. Like, yeah, we're going to get 2 raids, one being a legacy raid and one being that. If that's how they're going to go with all the future content, where every time we get one, we get a legacy raid with a new one, I don't know how to react to that. If, like, that's just where we're always going to get, if we're just going to get a legacy raid and a new raid at the same time, each DLC that comes out.
But that's the thing. That's my point exactly, though, is that it's not, if that's the way they're going to go with it, and next year it's going to be the new DLC, but it's also going to be like, and we're going to bring back King's Fall. Like, that's just not, I don't think
I hope they do, though.
I want
like,
King's
that's
Fall
what
back,
we want, though.
No, but I'm saying, like, don't get me wrong. Do I want a new version of King's Fall? Sure. But the amount of content we're getting with this price tag, and I'm talking about new content, like, old content's cool, but I'm talking about new content. It's not enough. It's just not, because we went over this in detail last week, and if you didn't listen last week, basically we went in and me and John went point by point about everything, and we talked about there's no new Crucible maps, but we're losing a ton. There's no new Gambit maps, but we're losing a ton. There's one new Strike, but we're losing a ton. There's one planet. And people are going crazy about the map, and yes, it's cool.
It's gonna aesthetically be a beautiful map, like Bungie always does. You're right, but at the end of the day, here's also the big thing. At the end of the day, like, we still don't know anything about the pyramids, like the Stranger and everything like that.
That's exactly my point, Adam. Is that we don't know. That's my problem. Yeah. The way that Bungie has been talking about Beyond Light is pissing me off at this point, because it's like, you're not really selling people very well because, yeah, there's a cool looking map, but we don't really know how big it really is. Like they're saying, like, oh, it's going to be the size of this, but the EDZ is a lot smaller than people think it really is. Like the
Yeah.
EDZ all looks really the same. There's not a whole lot of cool shit going on in the EDZ or Nessus. Like we don't know if there's going to be tunnels underground. We don't know if there's going to be anything going on. That's my problem. Like I've talked about this before with John and Nick, you may have heard me say this.
Yes.
My big problem with a lot of the things in Destiny 2 is that I remember reading the Game Informers about these regions, and they're talking about running into NPCs, doing these crazy cool quests and daily stuff. None of that really happened. You know, Devrim doesn't do anything. Like we never ran into.
No, he just holds a gun that I want.
And that's my point. The
That's
world
all he does.
doesn't feel alive. You know what I mean? You know
So
what
the
I mean?
only way it's not gonna backfire, I think, that it's not gonna leave a bad taste in players' mouths is that it feels like anything we get out of Destiny 1 is complementary, like it's on top, like it's just there you go. Like no, don't even make
Exactly.
a big deal about it. Like make the main focus whatever you're bringing to the table, because then whatever you bring from Destiny 1 is gonna be in a much
Cherry.
better light. Like people are gonna respect it way more if you do it like that.
Exactly. That's exactly my point. Is that, and I've seen other people, and I referred John to November Hotel's video about it. And if you guys haven't seen it, go on November Hotel's page on YouTube and watch his video about it, because he's a little harsh, but I agreed with him completely. And I think he was right to be harsh, because this is the problem with Beyond Light is, as it seems right now, it seems as though a big selling point is legacy content, and that's a major problem, because
Yes.
you should never be asking your populace to be paying for content we've already played 1,000 times. It is cool. It is very cool, but I am not okay with spending $35 on content I already played. Like this Beyond Light would be cool if it's $70 and we're getting a lot. And I'm sorry, right now what we're getting is maybe $35 worth, $40 at the most. It's not $70 worth if you get the deluxe whatever edition, which you should get, but that's the edition they want you to get. And like the season pass, it's a season pass, like whatever. But it's just not enough. And we're getting everything that's being taken out of the game. That makes it look worse, because we're not getting new Crucible maps, which is something we always used to get. We're not getting new strikes, except for one, which is something we used to get. We're not getting new Gambit maps, which is something we got. Like, so we're not getting all this new stuff. We're getting so much stuff taken out. And then they're marketing it as if, but see, we're giving you the Cosmodrome, we're giving you the Vault of Glass, we're giving you 3 old strikes. That should have been, oh, we're getting all of this plus that? Awesome.
Yeah.
But it's not being marketed properly. You know
I think
what I mean, Nick?
that's so that's I think one of the best things. It's such a shame if that was like a one-off, right? Where they had this whole Dreaming City reveal, because I can remember that was one of my favorite things. Like you were a bit under level, you were trying to push into the content in Dreaming City. That was, and if that was the only time they do that,
Did they
like
even
that's
announce
a
the Dreaming
massive
City
shame.
with the deal with Forsaken? Like, was Dreaming City even announced, or was that like
No.
you just
Not really.
discovered
At all.
it, right?
The
That's
Dreaming
right.
City was a surprise, and this is what we're talking about. This is the point we're trying to make, viewers, is that the new DLC will be really, really, really cool if there's a reveal like that. However, the problem is there's been no teasers. Oh, geez, there's a puppy under me. But there's no problem with it if, well, he was standing under my feet. But the problem is that the Forsaken alone did really amazing for the content that we got. But the problem I'm having with this DLC is that Forsaken also brought in new strikes, not just one, multiple new strikes. It brought in multiple new Crucible maps, multiple brought in Gambit.
I was going to
multiple,
say, it gave us the whole mode, didn't it?
Exactly. So it had all this content, all this new stuff in it, new guns, new armor, and Beyond Light, we're going to get a destination set. We're going to get 5 destination weapons. Wow. Amazing. We're getting one seasonal armor set that we can get different textures for in different content.
Aren't we also getting new vendor armor? Like they haven't revealed all of it. They just showed they just showed one for each faction, right? They showed like the Hunter in the Crucible one, the Titan in like the Gambit one, and the Warlock in the Vanguard one, right? And it kind of just seemed like the Crucible one's like going to be the best looking one, which, I mean, that's kind of how it is right now still, which isn't a big deal.
So even that, right, is only like a slight reskin, yeah, with different colors and patterns. So it's not like a unique armor set.
It's not really that unique. And honestly, a lot of people aren't even happy with the new armor that came from that TWAB. A lot of people are not very impressed. The Hunter set's by far the best looking set, but like that's not even that good looking of a set. And like, so a lot of people are really unhappy with that armor set because it's not really that unique. The Adored, we've already talked about the Adored, so we're not going to talk about it on this episode. But that's an issue in and of itself. But this is the point I'm making. We'll end this point on, and we've already talked about it before, but it doesn't seem as though the content is matching the price and it's not being marketed correctly. So it's making it seem that Bungie is hoping that we're willing to buy it because of the legacy content, but that's not why people should be buying it.
Yeah, no,
people should be buying it,
agree with
but
you
we're also getting this. So that's the issue. But we've talked about this a bit, so we'll move on to the next topic. But that's definitely a concern a lot of people have.
Yeah.
But obviously, we said that.
No, I 100% agree with you on that. It's just like I said, you know, so far Bungie's only dropped two things, like two actual DLCs, and they've only flopped one of them. You know, like I didn't think Forsaken at all was a flop. Like it's its greatest DLC, but it's played out. We're done with it. We're bored. It came out so long ago, and Shadowkeep was the biggest flop ever. We didn't really get anything out of it. The story itself didn't explain anything. All that story did was just set us up for what we're going into. And yeah, you know, you're right. Like, who knows if we're gonna get a Dreaming City-esque thing, or if they're just gonna keep pushing that narrative where it's like you finish out the story and we're still trying to discover what's next. And it kind of does seem like that if you look at the titles of the upcoming DLCs with Lightfall and like Savathun and everything like that, with a Queen's Break coming up. Like the names all kind of add up as if like we're just going to be left on a cliffhanger, and I kind of don't like that. At the same time, I kind of want, like, if anything, like the post seasons that if they're going to go back to doing that like they did with Black Armory, if those push the narrative closer as we're waiting for September for the next DLC and stuff like that.
I respect that, but I disagree respectfully, because the only reason I do is because I think people are really sick and tired of the story being eked out. No, people want it now. They want definitive change in the universe. I want this DLC to end definitively.
With no cliffhanger.
I want the next thing. I want the next thing coming in right then and there, because
that's what I'm saying. I agree with you on that, but that's what I feel like with the names of it. Like that's what they're pushing, how they're gonna do it. They're gonna keep leaving it on a cliffhanger like they did with Shadowkeep. Like, we were left on a giant cliffhanger. We go into the pyramid and we're in a Vex world.
Right. Well,
and I'm like, what is this? This ain't the pyramid. I've been here before. We're in the whatchamacallit, the garden, right?
Yeah,
on Mars or on not on Mars.
Well, I mean, they should always leave a path forward, right? They should not tie up all loose ends, but have a like sufficiently satisfying conclusion every time.
Right. So, John, why don't you sum up the point you made last episode real quick, and then we'll move on to the next topic.
Oh God, I've slept since then. So, if I remember correctly, which I probably don't, but we'll see. It's that the value of it is obviously, you said, $70, and there is content there. On the surface, no matter which way you cut it, if you're a new player or whatnot, because the game is free to play, so it's not worth that. But there has to be something there, even if they do seasonal drop, like drip throughout the year. That is not included in that price that you're paying at purchase. You're being sold a strike, no new Gambit, no new Crucible, a raid, a new location, which looks massive and it looks amazing. It could be like Tangled Shore level of awesome. We shall see. But it doesn't come with as much like content. Doesn't come with as much replay value, because before you could buy for a lot less. You could get all like 4 seasons included, couldn't you, for the whole year? So you're paying for a year's worth of content. Whereas this time it's you get the first one included, and then you've got to buy a bigger pack to get the 4 included. And then if you've got Game Pass, like me and Dimitri, and then next year if you get it on PC, you're then negating that. But then what about the other 66% of the user base? So what? I guess even more than that, because you've got Stadia players, but who plays on Stadia? So, shade. But you've got Steam users that are still paying for it. So people like Nick. You got PS. Do you still play on PS4, Adam?
I have not played on PS4 like since Forsaken. I basically have moved fully on PC. Just with like this is another big thing too. I'm hoping with the next expansion, if they really do not put in some type of anti-cheat with PC, I am gonna have to move forward with, because like I said, I play competitively online, and I'm tired of playing trials and going for my final win, and I play in Uber Hacker. It happens every weekend. It's getting really tiring. And if this is the one thing I'm going to call Bungie out on, if they can't implement a better anti-cheat since they've left on PC from Battle.net, which Battle.net provided them with an anti-cheat system, and they went to Steam. Steam doesn't offer them their own anti-cheat. Your game has to come with its own anti-cheat from Steam, and since they don't have a thing lined up with anti-cheat, and they just do their bans off of people reporting, which they don't check these reports that often. The only time I've seen people get banned is if they're playing someone like Lucky or someone like that, and they think they're a little sus or they're blatantly cheating, they get banned. But it's like, not everybody's a big full-time streamer or YouTuber to, get these people banned, like out of like the hundreds of thousands people, like the probably thousands of other hackers there are,
Well, there's talk that, sorry to say, with the anti-cheat thing, there's talk that potentially, with it coming to Game Pass on PC, that they'll work with Microsoft to implement anti-cheat, because they've got the ability to do that. So that could be part of the Game Pass deal. Now, if that limits it to the Windows 10 store version, which they've said
if it does, then that's fine. I probably would rather do that, and at least then I can actually play with you and Dimitri, because it's cross-compatibility like that through Game Pass.
Right, but I definitely, there's a lot to be digested by this, and hopefully in the next couple weeks we'll learn some more. But as it stands, I still don't think this DLC is worth the price. But
you know what I think is going to be the biggest curveball? This is my guess for it, is we all know what happened with Aldrin. He's a Guardian now. He's going to get thrown somewhere either in this DLC or the next one, and they're going to make him look like some big hero, and everybody's going to be pissed off about it, and it's going to be pretty funny, though.
I think people actually would embrace it. I think people would really embrace it.
I would embrace it. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, so we'll see where that goes. But we all have a different opinion on this DLC's price point and whether or not it's worth it, and that's okay. And it's good to hear different opinions on it.
And I also hope we actually get, because we really don't have, Vanguards back. We have Vanguard, but we don't have, class-specific Vanguards. I hope that if that's one of the things they at least bring back with this, and again, it's it's talking about bringing stuff back, but, that's one of the things that should have went away. Ikora literally has nothing to do in the tower. Not that I play Warlock main, but it's literally, she is literally the Warlock Vanguard, and it's Warlocks have her to be hype about her, and whatchamacallit, and there's nothing to do. I want them to bring back class specific stuff, especially since we're getting new abilities and everything. So it's because what was it? If you were a hunter, you got the Ace of Spades, which no one really used and everything like that. But now it's great now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but I would love it if they did that, because then it also makes all these since the game's free to play, it makes everybody play all these other classes again, because you want the class-specific exotic weapon then and everything like that. So
I mean, that's a fair point.
And again, and that's everybody's biggest guess, is that Aldrin's gonna come in and he's gonna be the next Hunter Vanguard, and people are gonna be pissed about it. But I would be so incredibly hyped for it.
Yeah,
no one can replace Cade, but I want the Vanguards back.
Yeah,
no, I
yeah.
agree.
I just don't want Aldrin to. I want Aldrin to evolve in his own way. I don't want him to be just shelved in as Hunter Vanguard and then he doesn't do anything. I really want him to go in a different route and a very interesting route. Same thing with the Extra Stranger. I don't want her to just be the Europa vendor. Like I want her to be like, and that's what she will be. I just know
She
it.
will be.
That kind
But
of Bray, though, wasn't
yeah.
it? So
Yeah, and it sucks. I just don't feel like Bungie utilizes their characters in very unique and intriguing ways. Like they take them, they have all this potential, but then they just stick them in a spot and go, "Yeah, do that."
on
Cool.
that though, with Aldrin, what if his story was an arc that went on all the way through this year
I
or
would love
10 months
that.
of
I would
content,
love
and
it
then
because
at the end
that's
of
that's prime content right there.
yeah, but then at
I
the
feel like
end of
that's
the
what they're setting up.
expansion,
Yeah.
he then takes up. He then becomes just another vendor in the tower, but it takes 10 months because say if they release it next September, so we now have 10 months worth of content.
Yeah, I would love
and,
that.
and he ends with that. It's a big triumph, you know. So going back to what you spoke about, like reuse content from D1, the unused content of us going and finding him out there in the Cosmodrome. So say if that is December January season, for example, we go there Cosmodrome, we go back. It's reskinned. We know what it is, but it's completely different use. And we start his journey from there. You know, he discovers who he is, what his past was. He battles past that. He changes everybody's minds, wins their hearts, and then at the end of August next year, he's got, like I say, he takes up the mantle. You know, he finally comes
Earns
to
his
terms with
spot.
what he did in the past life, and then
Yeah.
boom, big unveiling of a brand new Vanguard room. You know, we get the table back, and I don't know, Zafala nods at him or pats him on the back or something. That I could live with that, but if he just randomly appears in the tower and he's selling armor, I'd be like, it's a complete waste.
And that's my
So that-
problem. Yeah, I think John makes a very good point. Nothing in Destiny 2's storyline right now feels earned. That's a big problem with the game, and that's a big problem with the world. Like the world doesn't truly feel alive, and the story doesn't feel earned. Like the reason why Forsaken was so good is because everything in it felt alive.
It changed so much, didn't it?
But because Aldrin's easily the best written character in Destiny history. I mean, it seems that they took all their most talent. I mean, like there's some that are on his level, but like it feels like they took their best writers for Forsaken and were like, make this feel real. Like Aldrin's struggle felt real, and that's why at the end of the DLC I was like, oh no, I don't want to shoot him because I understand. I feel what he's going through personally. So it's like, that's why it's so good. So that's why, John, you make a fantastic point. I mean, and I wish they did this with a lot of the characters, like where they really earned their spot. They earned your care. Like, you know, there were parts in the Red War, and we talked about this, why we think newer players should have to play the Red War, where Ikora has good moments where you feel her character. You really understand.
You feel all the pain, don't you? All of losing the light and stuff, yeah.
You know, and Zavala, when he gets frustrated because he can't help. And as a Titan, he's like, I need to do what's right. I need to help. So, like, that's why the Red War's so good. And so that's why I think you're making such a good point, because I think a lot of people wouldn't even know how to feel if Aldrin just shows up and he's the Hunter Vanguard. Like, that wouldn't feel good.
No, I would 100% like it if they push the narrative in this upcoming DLC where in the story you're building a relationship with him and it ends with him becoming the Vanguard, pushing into the next DLC. But I don't want him to be the Vanguard till the next DLC then.
Yeah, like November 11th, he's just there. You finish the main storyline and all of a sudden, boom, he's in the tower and you're like...
anytime they've had like a powerful storyline like that, it's been in the context of like just your main story, right? Very good writing inside of like your 6-hour campaign, but then to do that over a year, because I feel like there's definitely room and maybe like a requirement for that sort of arc where you have, if they pull off like making a year's worth of redemption arc or something where they actually have meaningful story implications for every season, like not meaningful sort of like hinting at all the like Sabbathu and stuff forever, but actually like having an engaging moment to moment, like, because it's always more personal when you have something like you have a character that you meet, that you talk with, and that's like if they have that sort of story that stretches over a year, that's gonna keep my attention for like personally.
Yeah,
That's gonna
exactly.
be much more interesting to me.
Absolutely. Especially
Yeah,
if it's a hunter. Especially if it's a
Yes.
hunter.
Yeah, I'll let you. I'll
Only
let you
reason.
off this time with it. So, but that's my
Only
fear
reason.
is that it comes out November 10th, and there's a lot of big stuff coming out. You know, as we mentioned
There
at the
is.
end, middle
That-
turn of the month, and
Yes.
Right.
if that 6-hour campaign is it, and then it's I'm back into that weekly grind, power creep, run Gambit, run
Yeah.
Crucible, run Strikes, hopefully start to raid properly. That's a night of content, 2 nights of content. Then what am I going to do the rest of my time? Yeah, it's great to be a gamer, and we're going to have like Demon Souls remakes, we're going to have Cyberpunk, Valhalla, and all that kind of stuff. But I want to lose myself in Destiny for several weeks at least. And currently, I know it's going back to a point we've tried to move past. It's just not there on
Yeah.
paper. It's not there. Whereas with Seiken, again, it was there, but you're like, oh god, it's done now. Wait, what's this?
Yeah.
Boom, there you go, and then you've got an entire new area to explore. So
Yeah.
hopefully they've got
Entire
something
new
there.
area.
So.
You got
Yeah.
probably one of the greatest raids in D2.
Right. So that's my point. And that's I think that's a good point to leave that on. On paper it's not there, but who knows? But as it stands,
guys.
and we don't want to be right, viewers. Like me and John
Oh,
do
no.
not want to be right on this. We don't want to have it drop and then we're like, see, we told you so. Like we don't want to feel that. We want all of the viewers to be like, see, you just have to believe. But look,
Yeah.
I think it's fair for me and John to be a little cynical about Destiny's DLC habits because
No, because as
Lots
of right
of
now,
friends.
their last DLC technically is a flop, and once you flop, it's hard to come back from a flop.
it's not even that.
And
It's the
and
last
like you're
couple
saying
deals.
before, it's you can't patch up a tire with a band-aid. And their band-aid is technically is like you say is old content, reskin content. And that's the band-aid. Yeah, that helps me with my pain for how disappointing the last DLC was. But like that's great. Like we deserve that. But this actual DLC needs to be a banger, or I don't want to say this company's dead, but like then that's 2 flops in a row, and now you got to get a new tire, aka the new tire is going to be rolling D3. I don't even want the rest of this upcoming DLC.
D3 will not happen. D3 is
I
not going
know,
to happen.
but
And
that's
I
what I'm
think there will
saying. That's
not
what I'm
ever
saying
be a
now.
D3. But I mean, I feel like if this DLC in the unlikely scenario was to flop really hard, I still think the game would survive. But and I think it would be fine. But like it would be fine. And what we want is the game to be like cherished and to develop over time. But that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, we'll leave it at that. We don't think it's really worth it, but we'll see what happens. Really, that's what we came out of this saying. But other than that, other than the Halloween event starting next week and Double Ordeal,
Which I'm excited for.
and
I'm excited to get back into Destiny again for
yeah.
it.
Definitely an interesting TWAB. Definitely, it's not a super long TWAB, but it's got good information that we needed. And definitely,
I couldn't see it in the 12. I don't know if you guys have got past experience of making a guesstimate at it, but because the only purchasable thing through silver is the 1-inch punch.
yep.
Rough idea on how much it'll cost? Because that's the kind of finisher that I would buy.
I believe it's going to be at the very least 800. I think it's going to be
maybe
800 to 11.
500.
I think it's going to, well, finishers are always 800. I
Are
think
they?
it's going to be either 800 to, let's just say, just in case, 800 to 1100. You know, it's
I've got
always at a
1,000
price.
silver, so
It's always at a price where it's like, it's just there, but you still need to get like the $10 because it's not there. Like, so it's probably going to be, I assume it's going to be like 800, but it could be 1100. That's usually what they fluctuate between when it comes to like finishers and stuff like that. So I'm assuming
800. I'm
800.
sorted because I've got
Yeah.
1,000 from when I bought the PC version of the complete collection, and I got an extra season pass, so it gave me the 1,000 back. So
I'm salty about missing out on the Iron Banner finishers, so I'm definitely going to buy this one to make up for my sorrow. But yeah, I mean, it's a good TWAB. There's good information in it. Excited for the Braytech. Hopefully, it has some good rolls. But other than that, John, is there anything you wanted to touch up on real quick at the end?
Not from 12, but I did put out asking if anybody had any questions for Nick. I don't know if anybody saw it and got asked the questions or not.
I didn't see anything.
That's
I didn't
right.
see anything. We
We've
didn't
got,
put it out probably quick enough for people, but
Right, when did it go out? It went out
remember
15 hours ago. So we've got 3 questions anyway.
All right, great. Let's get it.
So it's one that we've all asked ourselves and whatnot. So it'd be good for Nick. So I'll go through it in order. So what's your favorite exotic? So
Favorite
we'll
exotic.
expand on it and we'll go favorite weapon and favorite armor exotic. So which one?
Yes. So favorite weapon exotic has been the last word. I would say, because even in its current form, like I loved it when you could aim down sights, and so disclaimer, I'm a controller player, so it feels really really good. But then with the hipfire, I fell out of love with it for a good couple of weeks. I was like, I'm never playing it again because it feels awful. But then, yeah, just more so than its effectiveness. Like it's still, I think I can do just as well with a sidearm these days. But more than that, I just love the whole romance of it, the whole fantasy of that sort of weapon, and that's why all the Tex Mechanica stuff, like even the first curse and everything, I do love that aesthetic. And well, in terms of favorite exotic, just I think Dragon Shadow is probably the one a go-to for me. And my least favorite is Ophidian. Orpheus Rig, just because of it doesn't look right, and I have to wear it. I feel like, well, not anymore as much. That's one of my favorite changes to it, where I really don't feel as forced anymore, because the fashion
as a
game is
non-hunter,
always very important.
What's Dragon Shadow? Is it Dragon Shadow? Is it a hunter exclusive?
It is.
Yeah. So what
Dragon
do you do
Shadow
as a
is. Yeah. So it's a chess piece that basically lets you. It makes your. So it reloads all your weapons. It gives you like increased stats and movement speed and everything, and weapon equip
is
speed
it the one
for
when you
10
dodge
seconds.
it reloads?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
yeah,
then you can
yeah,
spec
And
into the
so
other.
you could have that while you have the other dodge.
Exactly.
So you could do
Yes.
both.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's what I love with, like, it gets back to the shade step sort of animation that I always prefer. Like it repositions you better, first of all, but I also think it looks better.
That's
You
why I
can do
bet
the
he kicks
backflip.
ass with rocket launchers because
And-
she's like fires one, dodges, fires, and
Yeah.
I'm just there going.
Yes.
Sorry.
And then
Okay.
what's the next question for Nick?
Out of all the content that's confirmed for DCV, what will you miss the most?
Well, I was gonna say, so that's a tough question.
Yes, it is.
You're talking about with
Haven't
what's
thought-
getting vaulted?
Yeah.
Yes,
I feel like
So,
everybody has to have the same answer. It has to be Menagerie, right?
yeah.
I actually did like Menagerie. So
Like,
I-
Menagerie, like, is that one thing I love to play because every time you do it, it's something different most of the time.
so
Like, I mean, yeah, you have the same boss at the end, but like, you always do end up doing different stuff in it. That's why I like the Menagerie, and
I
you're
am gonna miss
guaranteed
it.
your loot if you do your ruins and stuff.
yeah, I am gonna miss it if there's nothing equivalent. Like I liked that thing where it was like a promise of maybe this is what's gonna be coming in, like going forward.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna say Menagerie for now, but I might not miss it if they do have something
Yeah.
similar.
Yeah.
What's
I mean, it's played out at this point. I don't.
What's the
need it
final
anymore,
question
really.
for Nick?
So I think I'm going to know the answer, but we'll see. So Gambit or Crucible? What do you prefer?
Crucible.
Yeah, I thought it would be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anybody. If you answer
Gambit. All my homies hate
Anything
Gambit.
or Crucible, it's always gonna be Crucible. So
Gambit or
well,
Crucible.
Becky loves
There is no Gambit,
loves
it's just
Gambit. Sorry,
Crucible.
so she'll always pick Gambit over it because it was one of the first modes that we played together in Destiny 2 because we came back. Well, I came back this year and she played for the first time this year, and Gambit was like a mix of because I love Crucible, and so it took aspects of that, but it allowed her to creep into Destiny. And I think if Gambit wasn't in the game, she probably wouldn't have liked it as much because you just dropped in, you've got the whole pre-round thing, and yeah, I think if she picked an enemy she hated the most, it would be Scorn because of Gambit. They just but and she's really good at predicting what the coin's going to flip to. The whole aesthetic to it and the whole storytelling and everything is so good. So for a new player, it really drew her in, and I don't think she'd be playing now if it wasn't for Gambit. So, and Crucible is, if you've not played that kind of, if you've not played games like that before, so like Halo and whatnot, it can be a bit daunting, especially with the way that the content rotates in, like Iron Banner and stuff. If you don't know what you're clicking on and you end up in an Iron Banner match, you're just gonna get trounced. So
yeah,
it's not about Gambit. So.
We're coming up on the hour 40 mark, boys. Nick, is there a defining reason as to why you hate Gambit? Quick, give us your quick reason as to why.
There is none. I think the invader experience could be much better. The player interaction with the other team could be better. I think because the slaying enemies and banking stuff is fine. It's completely fine.
Yeah.
So there's none. To answer your question directly.
Okay. All right. Spoken like a true politician. All right, guys. So Nick, where can we find you on social media?
If you really want to follow me, it's at NickDSH on Twitter, and I do stream occasionally on Twitch. So that's twitch.tv/NickDSH. But
Street Fighter
Nick
very sporadic.
NIK or Nick?
That's right. Yeah. NIKDSH.
Okay. And where can we find you, John?
So on Twitter and Instagram, it's Protofo, so PROTOFOE. They're the only ones to really follow me on at the moment. Maybe next week I'll have some more news on something else, but right now it's just that. So.
Big news, baby! Oh. And what about you? What about you, Adam? Where can we find you on social media?
On Twitter, it's Adam Erkin2, and on Instagram, on my gaming thing where I post most of my clips till I decide if I'm going to go back to streaming or not, it's at Rush_Turk.
All right. And
where I have all my Destiny highlight clips.
You can find me on Twitter at Prophet_17, and you can find me on Instagram at DimitriOtto4. This has been a fun episode. Thanks again to Nick for being on for the first time, and we look.
Thanks for having me, guys.
On
all the
time.
All the time.
So stay tuned for next episode after the Halloween event drops. Everybody, let's make sure that we get a good helping of Halloween so that we can give the viewers what they want.
Yes.
Our very honest opinions about it. So definitely really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for being on. So that was awesome.
So much.
No problem.
Cheers,
Great
guys.
to be back after missing many weeks.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Destiny Corner podcast. See ya.